Hello and welcome back, everyone. My name is Javante McIntosh, and today we're going to start off with something very exciting called Smartsheet. And so, before we start, we just want to dive into a few things. So, what is Smartsheet? Well, Smartsheet is a cloud based work management platform that is used for planning, tracking, automation, and managing various tasks and workflow. It provides a range of tools and features to help teams and organizations streamline their work process and improve productivity. So, that's a brief synopsis on Smartsheet. But what exactly does that mean? So, Smartsheet, and you'll hear many people say it, is similar to Microsoft Excel, um, except with more bells and whistles to, like I mentioned, streamline your workflow and various tasks. So, to get started, um, we're gonna go ahead and create a login. This takes a little time to load, but we'll get there. We're gonna just agree with terms and conditions and policies and so on and so forth. So once you create a username and password with your Gmail or whatever email address you have associated with it will take you to this main page. As a first-time user, it will pretty much ask you to create a project title and then go ahead and create a grid or Gantt or card. But for people who are not familiar with what's happening here, we're going to just move forward with saying no, thank you, and we're just going to get started. So once you create a free account, Smartsheet offers all user a trial period where you get 30 days to use Smartsheet, all the functions and bells and whistles. You could download different projects, you could download different templates, you can upload, and all that fun stuff. So they pretty much give you 30 days to be able to play around with Smartsheet, see if it works for you. And from there, you'll be able to decide if you want to pay for the software. Now, it's a monthly subscription, but for most companies who like project management tools, this is pretty reasonable in terms of package for different organizations. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do, like it suggests, is create new. So you could go here and click on the plus sign right here, or you could just click on create new. The first thing we're going to do is click on Sheets. So that's what we want to talk about today. So we're going to call this test sheet name. You could name it whatever you want. And it's going to pretty much take us to what we call a grid view. So grid view is a interface that allows user to create and manage tasks, projects, and data in a tabular format. It's similar to Microsoft Excel, like I mentioned, but with added functions for project management and collaboration. So the good thing with Smartsheet, it won't leave you stranded. It will provide different pop-ups and so on and so forth to just kind of walk you through the process, right? So let's jump on in. So this is the grid. Looks similar to Microsoft Excel, has columns and it has rows. And if you notice, um, over to your far left, there are a few icons here. So this is a paperclip, which shows that you can attach different documents to the row. Here is a comment icon, which shows that you can add a comment to each row. Proofing as well. And this is just an indicator. So here, different indicators listed are bell, which is like a set reminder, right? So we'll get to that in a second. Like I mentioned, we are in grid view. and you can see it from the top of the screen to your left. If you click on the drop-down arrow, you can change the view from grid to Gantt, to card view to calendar view. For this lesson, we're just going to look at grid view. You have a save icon here, a printer icon, undo, redo. You have a filter here. You have outdent and indent. You can change the font here. You can change the font size. And a little bit more formatting tools here. You'll see bold, italic, underline, strike through, background color, font color. And notice here, there are 3 dot icon, which represents more. So if you click on that, you can see more options. These are more options for formatting, and we'll get to these as the lesson progresses. Now you can enter full screen mode, or you can revert, depending on how you want to use the software. Now, here in the software, we have a primary column. And the purpose of the primary column is to, for tracking purposes or for unique identifiers. And so when you right click on each column, it gives you a drop-down list of different things that you can do, right? So you can insert right, insert left. As we mentioned with the indent, outdent, unfortunately, because this is a primary column, you're not able to delete it. You can rename the column. You can add column description, so on and so forth. For this particular example, we want to edit the column properties. So let's call this inventory items. Perfect. All right. Now it saves automatically after a period, but we can always save in between, right? Right. So this column, we're gonna edit column properties as well, or we could just rename the column from here, right? So we'll call this column cost. Let's put this in dollars. And we want to leave it as text format. Let's say for any other reason we need to change the format of the column, you can do that. Drop down, dates, contact list, so on and so forth. For right now, we're going to leave it as text. And then here, we're going to add another column. We're going to call this order quantity. We're going to leave this as text as well. And notice it says text and number, so it works for both. Then create another column, rename this, and we will call this total. Didn't take. Let's do that one more time. Total in USD. Perfect. So I have a list on hand, so I am going to be working from that list. So let's say, for example, you are working in the healthcare field and you are purchasing a list of items that you need for your department, and you want to run a simple operation where you could just look at the total cost. So instead of using Excel, you want to use Smartsheet because you want the bells and whistles that come with Smartsheet, and that's fine. So I have a list of items here, inventory items. I'm just going to pop them in. You can expand the column as wide as you'd like. Or you could just narrow the columns up, go to the 3-dot icon here, and wrap text, similar to Microsoft Excel, like I mentioned. When you wrap the text, it makes the rows wide enough to fit the data that you want to use. So, good. All right. Now let's drop the cost in here. Perfect. Now, like I mentioned, the data that I populate here, I have it on a previous sheet. And so that's the reason why we have that, all right? Now, I also have the quantity that we want to order. So we want 4 of this one of that, 10 of this, 6, 6, 6, and 10, okay? Wonderful. Now, we're gonna create the total. So we know that the total would be the cost times the quantity. And how we do that, so there are a lot of functions that work pretty much the same, like Microsoft Excel. So we'll just go ahead and start the equal sign. But in the event of uncertainty, you can navigate here and click on functions help or help functions. And this would pretty much answer your questions in terms of what function you need for the type of command you're trying to run. So here we just need a simple order times cost. So we equal sign, we click on the row for order, and then we insert the asterisk, which represents a multiplication sign, and then we click on cost. Once we hit enter, it will return a cost for us, right? Now, the beautiful thing with Smartsheet is you can generate the function all the way down, so that way every time you add another item in cost and quantity, it will automatically do that, or you could just pull it just like that. So we're gonna create, so you right click, go back here, right click in the row, scroll all the way down to convert to a column formula. Once you select that, you notice that there's this gray box. Before it was blue and now it's gray. That indicates that the function is in this entire column. That's amazing, right? Good. That's one example. Another example, if you don't want the function all the way down at the end, you just pull just like that and hit OK, right? Now we notice here that we need to do a little bit more formatting because it doesn't show a dollar sign like we have here. So we highlight the rows and then navigate to our 3-dot icon, which represents more. And then we click on the currency format. There are different currencies, but we just want to default to dollars. Great. Pick that up. Now from here, we want to generate a total cost. So just like we did in Microsoft Excel, it's equal sign sum, open parentheses, and wrap this up, close parentheses, and enter. There you go. So we can tidy that up to make it look a little nice and hit save. And then we can just rename the sheet to purchase order 1 test, right? So here you have it, just as simple as it would be in Microsoft Excel, where you can add rows and columns. You can rename rows. You can rename columns, and you can add different functions that will help you to calculate depending on what you need. Move things around. So let's say we want to move this to the top here, just to be able to identify that better. We could do that. Let's say we want to move this down here for whatever reason, you could do that just as well. And you notice that the value does not change. We're just reorganizing. And then from here, we can print this. We can include a logo, the sheet name, etc. You get to customize pretty much how you would like to have your smart sheet. And if it's to your liking, you can go ahead and hit print. And you would have it just like this. Now you notice column 5 and column 6 showing up on my report. That's because we did not delete that. That's okay. Then we can share this with whichever department, or if this goes to a vendor, obviously you could do the same. So that's a quick look at entering data in the grid view for calculation purposes. And we'll be looking at a few other views in the next lesson. But for right now, I just wanted an overall understanding for how to add information to Smartsheet for the purpose of running a general calculation function. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.